Hi, today let us learn how the Docker is used and how the images and HDFS CSV files were inserted into the Hadoop and how they were how the images were extracted. Let's see this today. So, uh, first we need to open a command prompt, and here once you open your Docker, you need to sign in with your account, and later we need to start executing, giving our prompts in the command. So first is you need to log in, Docker login with you, and here I'm using my username and the password. So once we have successfully logged in, now we will start our first procedure of pulling the images uh, using the name nodes and the data nodes which we will be creating in the containers. So let's dive into this. So to create a name node in a container, so first we will write Docker full BDE 2020 slash Hadoop hyphen name node colon 2.0.0 minus Hadoop 3.2.1 minus Java 8. So here we have the data sets which are already uploaded in this particular prompt, and so and now the data is getting extracted. Let's wait until these are done. So now we have successfully downloaded the data from the name node, and now let's make a data node container. So here we just change the in place of name, we just give the name, and the rest the prompt is same. So once the data node is done, so we have the data already in the name, so it's showing already existed. And now, once the name node and data node containers were created, now let's move further in creating a network. Okay, to create a network, we should give Docker Docker network create Hadoop.net. So it shows that the network with the Hadoop.net already existed because we are using it. So now let's inspect let's inspect why there is an error over there. So Docker network inspect Hadoop.net -net. So here we can see the name HadoopNet and where the ID of that HadoopNet was given and which drivers it was used and what is it. And here you can see the containers were empty. There are nothing in that. So we can use this now. So now let's see. mm, let's run the name node so that we can proceed further, get the insights from the datasets which is already there in the name node. So in order to run the name node, I have already copied the prompt which is previously done. So let's put that here. Before that, uh, let's open the Docker. Here in the images, if you see, we have the name node and we have the data node. Make sure that these are always running. If they were not running, and you won't extract the images and everything. So now let's run through the name node. Oh, copy this. Yeah. Here the Docker then it's a name node where we are giving the port as 9870 is to 9870. Usually we used to have this 9000, but we need to give the 9870. So let's see. And we got the ID. And now let's give the data node prompt. So now we are adding the data node prompt. So finally our name nodes and data nodes were uh, run successfully. So hi. Today, let us learn how the Docker is used and how the images and HDFS CSV files were inserted into the Hadoop and how they were how the images were extracted. Let's see this today. So, uh, first we need to open a command prompt, and here once you open your Docker, you need to sign in with your account, and later we need to start executing, giving our prompts in the command. So first is you need to log in, Docker login with Q, and here I'm using my username and the password. So once we have successfully logged in, now we will start our first procedure of pulling the images uh, using the name nodes and the data nodes which we will be creating in the containers. So let's dive into this. So to create a name node in a container, so first we will write Docker full BDE 2020 slash Hadoop hyphen name node colon 2.0.0 minus Hadoop 3.2.1 minus Java 8. So here we have the datasets which are already uploaded in this particular prompt, and so and and now the data is getting extracted. Let's wait until these are done. So now we have successfully downloaded the data from the name node, and now let's make a data node container. So here we just change the in place of name, we just give the name, and the rest the prompt is same. So once the data node is done, so we have the data already in the name, so it's showing already existed. And now, once the name node and data node containers were created, now let's move further in creating a network. Okay, to create a network, we should give Docker Docker network create Hadoop.net. So it shows that the network with the Hadoop.net already existed because we are using it. So now let's inspect why there is an error over there. So Docker network inspect Hadoop.net hyphen net. So here we can see the name Hadoop net and where the ID of that Hadoop net was given and which drivers it was used and what is it. And here you can see the containers were empty. There are nothing in that. So we can use this now. So now let's see. Let's run the name node so that we can proceed further, get the insights from the datasets which is already there in the name node. So in order to run the name node, I have already copied the prompt which is previously done. So let's put that here. Before that, let's open the Docker. Here in the images, if you see, we have the name node and we have the data node. Make sure that these are always running. If they were not running, and you won't extract the images and everything. So now let's run through the name node. Oh, copy this. Yeah. Here the Docker then it's a name node where we are giving the port as 9870 is to 9870. Usually we used to have this 9000, but we need to give the 9870. So let's see. And we got the ID. And now let's give the data node prompt. So now we are adding the data node prompt. So finally our name nodes and data nodes were uh, run successfully. So now we have we have run the name nodes and data nodes, and now let's go into the Docker, where uh, in the containers you can see the name node and data nodes were green. It means that they were already running, and you can find here two ports which we have given. So when we go into the ports, you can see the overview of the name node which is active right now, and where at the bottom you can see the live nodes, which is one, because right now the only one node is working and the dead nodes are zero. As when this node is not working, within a 10 minutes, if the another node doesn't response, and the present node gives and the live node changes to the dead node as they were not responding. So now let's go into the how creating how to create a new directory. So to create a new directory, first we need to prompt like docker execute it name node mkdir hashtag date. Here, this is the way which we are giving the name. So I would like to give it as okay, fine. Let's give it as like hotel. Okay, because the data sets now which we are having almost belongs to the hotels. So hotel. So we have successfully created a new directory. So now let's add some files to that. Docker execute it name node mkdir. So here let's add some files to it, and the files were also executed. So I have already created a four CSV files which are of mm, which describes about the restaurants and the customers who have visited and the orders which they have given and the delivery drivers like how they deliver the food items. So now let's see how to add the CSV files into the Docker container. So before adding the CSV files in the Docker container, we need to give Docker CP. Now we need to add the file location of the dataset into it. So let me show you that. So I have already stored my datasets, customers tables, delivery drivers, orders, and restaurants. So now I'm dragging this. No, just a moment. Oh, I need to type here. Uh, Docker CP space, and we will add the CSV file here, space, and we need to give, we are saving it in the name node. We're saving it in the name node. So name node colon hashtag data hashtag. No such directory. So let's again give the prompt again. Docker CP and select the path, and here we will be giving the name node colon hyphen data. Yeah. Before checking this, we need to check whether the data is stored in the directory or not. So let's see this. Yeah. The name node consists of keys, beans, boot, and these are the data sets which are already there. So now we can add the CSV files into the Docker containers. So Docker CP space, and we will drag and keep the product here space. mm, Name node colon slash data. I'm sorry, I think, oh, I have given the wrong data set here, and I have stored it in the hotel. So, yes, actually, we have stored the directory named as a hotel, but I have did it wrong. So, we need to mention the hotel name there. So, now you can copy same thing. You can do for all the Docker CP space. Now we will gather this there and name node colon hashtag hotel hashtag. So we have copied successfully that. And in the same way, you can also do in this method where you can erase the name and you can orders underscore table where you have copied it. And we have finally we have this restaurants underscore table. So yeah, successfully we have implemented all our CSV files into the Docker container. So now, okay, so let's go into the Docker where in the containers, the name node, and these are already stored in the name node. So if you go to the file, so these are already stored in the form of hotels here, which we have saved. So see here, which is added 27 seconds ago. So here, if you click the hotel, yeah, you can see the delivery driver, orders, restaurants, and everything. So now let's see, and yeah, I have added two times, and we need to add the customer details also. Total is four. We have the four insights, four receipt files, and customers table. Yes, customer tables is also done. So now if we see here in the name node, files, and if we go to the hotel, yeah, you can already see the customers, delivery drivers, orders, and the restaurants, which we have already given. So now let's move further and see how these CSV files were moved into the HDFS and how how they can view the directories of HDFS. So now let's create a subfolders. So Docker execute ID name node HDFS GSS hyphen mkdir hyphen slash hotel. Here we are giving a directory name and following with the customers. Yeah, we have successfully created a hotel under the customers under the hotel. So in the same way, we will create for all the four CSV files. So the customers and next we are having mm, delivery. Yeah, Now we have created for the delivery. Next we go with the orders, and finally we are here. So we have another. So I'm using some example prompts so that I can edit accordingly. So here we have. So here we changes this into our customers customers table, customers table dot CSV, and we have here oh, sorry, CSV, and we have here our main directory as hotel. We have our main directory as hotel and the subdirectory as customers. So now let's see whether this works. Customers underscore table. Now let us set up an Hive in a Docker and see how the Hive functions in a Docker. So to proceed further, let's give a prompt. So let's prompt Docker full BDE 2020 slash Hive. So just give me one. Oh, sorry, I have inputted the wrong slash. So Hive. Yeah, we have successfully pulled the Hive from the Docker. So let's wait till the facets were downloaded. After this, we would be running into the Hive servers with the Hadoop net. Yeah. So now let's move into the Docker server. Docker run minus d hyphen underscore name Hive servers is hyphen network Hadoop net BDE 2020 slash Hive underscore latest. So yeah, successfully we have pulled this one. So now let's go to the Docker and see if we have the Hive uh, executed. Yeah, we have the Hive server which is already moved into the container. So let's go into the Hive. After going to the Hive, first we need to go into the files where you can find the Hive section. You can go into the open the Hive and go into the files, and next you can find the OPT which is modified. Now there you go into the Hive. In the Hive, find the configuration, click on it, and where you can find the Hive site XML. Open this. Open open in the file editor here. So that the code which is here is useless, which is waste. So delete everything, and we need to give a new configuration code here, which I will be putting down in the description. You can use that. Yeah. So now let's save this. So once we have uploaded the new configuration coding over there, we will save this. And now let's set up Hive on Docker. Let's go to the command prompt again. And now let's do Docker execute IT Hive server hashtag OPT five slash hive slash bin slash schematol schematool space hyphen in its schema hyphen db type derby and no such containers. So just give me a moment. Let me check. So yeah. So when you when you set up the Hive in the Docker, when you use this Hive servers, you need to stop the initialization at the starting stage so that once the schema is initialized, you can start into the Hive metastore services later. So to proceed further, we will give a new prompt uh, where mm, so once it is done, now let's find the IP address of us a Docker. So Docker inspect. Just give me a moment. Let me copy paste it. So here is the code, and yeah, finally we have found our IP address. So now to get into the Hive shells, uh, this is the prompt which will be given, where we will be adding our IP address to that with the ports. So now when you do this, you can you can enter the SQL codes in the Hive shell. So to enter the SQL codes, first click Control C, and now you need to check the HDFS structure, which is like Docker execute name node HDFS DFS ls. Ah, no such file in the directory. Just hold on. So we need to put a slash. Yeah, we got all the information. Now let's proceed further. Now let's get the list of our tables into the Hive. So as you see that here we have the following information. So let's create the tables now. So now just enter, give a prompt, show tables so that uh, you can execute it. Yeah, the time, if you get the OK and the time taken to create the tables is 3.38 seconds, now you should start creating you should give some SQL codes which starts creating the tables. So I have already stored the uh, codes. Now let me copy that and show to you. Yeah, here are the codes. So to create a table, so we will be copying this. Yeah, paste it. So it took 0.415 seconds to create this particular table. And now let's see for the delivery drivers, how much time does it takes to create? Mm, oh, sorry, and we have more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It took 0.05 seconds for getting the information of the delivery tables. Now let's create the table for the orders, and we need to give the codes for all the four uh, CSV files. And finally, now here we comes with the restaurants. Yeah. So once all the codes were given, prompted, now let's see the tables and click show tables. Okay, now let's give a prompt to show tables where you can see the tables of customers, delivery drivers, orders in the restaurants, and how much time does it took to create this table and how many rows we have. Okay, so after this, you can see your Hive is running. Okay, now let's see the columns. Now we have seen the rows, tables. Now let's see the columns of the tables. To see the columns of the table, we need to set up the Hive and count the. Oh, here is the code. We just enter it, and now we just copy the same next from the customers. Now, yeah, we got the customer ID, customer names, customer email, customer phone numbers, and this is the address which I have given them. Now let's see from the delivery drivers in the same way, and you can give the orders. Yeah, you got the customer order ID, order everything regarding to the orders. And if you select the restaurants here, and you have the same restaurant ID, restaurant names, and everything. So now let's do some SQL applications by finding how many in by using these four CSV files. Let's find some. Let's do some SQL operations here. Okay, where I have all the codes which I have generated, and now I'm gonna copy that paste. I will giving you this in the description so that you can use this. And so to count the number of restaurants per city, I would be using this code. Yeah, stage one, and now let's do for another one. Yep, it took 1.2947, and the rating is average, average. And oh, let's see the now let's look for the delivery driver vehicle list so that we can see what type of vehicles they were using and what is the most used vehicle for giving the delivery, and the vehicle type and the driver counts and how many hours they run. Yeah. So, oh, oh, it's up to you whether you can do like five, six. It depends on you whether if you want to know more in details of those tables, you can look into, you can find some codes and you can make it to get the details in details, finding the tables, what the data is given in the tables. And now let's see the count order by the status. So how many orders have been placed? So the final code which I want to give is the top three customers from the customer table. So that we have the total jobs, so two people. Yeah, see yeah, it took like 7 minutes, which shows that there are a lot of two customers who were like ordered totally. So finally, mm, this is how you use an Hive and how to pull the images and extract the CSV files into the Hadoop and use the SQL codes to extract the data from the CSV files. I hope you like this, and I know I'm not too perfect in this, but I have some the mistakes which I have done already. But when I come with the next video, I would make it into the better version. Yeah. Thank you.